we have our CEO and founder, Teresa Dreiniger, that after almost 20 years, she found Slab to help 100, maybe thousands of small business owners. Now we have helped more than 14,000. We're proud of it and we're still growing on it. So, Teresa Dreiniger, being very welcome here and see you in the room.
Thank you, Colombo. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. For those of you on other time zones, I just saw someone's here from Kenya. I appreciate you guys being here. I know it is late. I will do my very best to be as exciting as humanly possible. So for those of you in time zones where it's late at night, thank you for being here. For those of you in America on election day, thank you for being here. For those of you from Trinidad and Tobago, a special shout out to you guys, because I just got to hang out with you in Trinidad and Tobago, and it was so fun. So good to see you all again. And then for those of you from all over the world, it's just always a pleasure to be together. Literally yesterday, I was having a conversation with someone about the fact that the very best thing about Silver Lining is this incredibly diverse global community who just always shows up for each other, for justice, for our businesses, who are willing to do the hard work. And so I'm very, very happy to be here with all of you guys. As Colombo said, the idea for today is that we have a lot going on at Silver Lining. We are so blessed that so many of you are very long-term slapsters and or brand new slapsters, or maybe soon to be slapsters. And I really wanted to be able to teach the methodology for anyone that either needs a refresher or maybe someone that's never heard me teach it live. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to be working together. This is going to be hopefully fun and motivating, but also very practical. So I'm just going to give some instructions and then I'm going to share my screen and we are just going to get to work. So first of all, I highly recommend everyone has a pen and a piece of paper. Our neural pathways develop differently when we write than when we type. And so my hope is that in sort of learning SLAP from beginning to end, you're going to be able to experience it differently if you write down the things that really make a difference, or you write down the things that really matter to you. The second thing is if you're Silver Lining staff in the room, I shared a Google Doc with all of you with really clear instructions. I want you guys to be active in that document. Our hope is that by all of us sitting in a room, slapping together, will make us better at our jobs at Silver Lining. If you already have a slap and you're a slapster in the room, my recommendation is that you have your Slap Center account open. Go back to build and kind of follow along. The slap methodology obviously follows the same flow as the slap build you went through. And this is going to be a very practical, good time to really center back in on your slap. Do you have the right strategy? Have you thought about things in a way that makes sense? Like anything, the more often we hear something, the more clarity we can get. And so even if I see some of you in here, slapsters have been around for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Hearing it again will make it even better again. Every time I teach it, I get more clarity over and over again. And then for those of you that are brand new, soak it in. I'll give you guys links for how you can create a free Slap Center account and build part of your slap for free before you hit the paywall to get all of the support. But for all of you who don't have a slap yet, this is a really great way to learn it beginning to end and figure out if and how it can best apply to you and to your business. So without further ado, I'm going to move my screen into presentation mode, and I am going to share it with all of you. Let's get to work. Okay. Let me see. Can you guys see my screen okay? I think you can.
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Okay. So let's start with a little bit of context. What and why did I start Silver Lining? What and why do we have the SLAP methodology? What and why is this all about? I think that everything always is better with context. And so the context for SLAP is that I started Silver Lining in April of 2005, which means at the time of this recording, we are nearing our 20-year anniversary. And I didn't know what I needed to build, and I didn't know how to do it. But what I really, really believed very deeply was that small businesses succeeding, it was critically important for a number of reasons. When I think about all of the issues that I care about in the world, opportunity, kids, equality, when a small business succeeds, kids go to school, jobs are created, communities are invested in, and ultimately the economy grows. And when the economy grows, everyone benefits from that. And so I had this big idea, and I thought, okay, there's something wrong with the fact that 80% of people who start small businesses fail. That doesn't make sense, because the small business owners I know are smart, talented, resilient, are willing to sacrifice. They think about the collective, and yet so often they don't succeed. Why is that? And so I started with this big idea. I wanted to live in a world where 80% succeed, not fail, because I wanted to live in a world where, as small businesses grew, kids had opportunities, jobs were created, communities were restored, not gentrified, and the economy grew. And I really believe, and I will say this, I am more clear and more determined and more convinced of the fact that we can literally change the global economy one small business at a time. And so that is the ethos of Silver Lining. I think sometimes as companies have been in business longer, or they get bigger, they can lose that core ethos of who they are. I would say, I keep saying this to everyone, we're almost 20 years in and we are just getting started. I am more convinced and more resolute about the idea that each of your success is an act of justice, and it plays a critical role in the world around us. Now, one of the things we teach you, if you have a SLAP, you know this, is it's all about having an ideal client. And while SLAP could probably help many, many, many different types of small businesses, many different people, we really built SLAP. I really built SLAP for a very specific type of business owner. All of you, I believe, probably who are in the room right now would fit this criteria. You're actively running your small business, you're owner operated. You've leveraged revenue, savings, maybe small loans to build your business, not venture capital, you're self-funded. You are beyond startup, and you're making sales and you're earning income from your small business. So it's not an idea, it's a going concern, you're revenue generating. Your business is your full-time job and your primary source of income. It's not a side hustle. I'm going to come back and talk about this in a second. You're focused on profitable and sustainable organic growth, not just scaling for the sake of scaling. You're committed to your own growth, and you're really ready to accept outside structure and support. We're going to talk about this a lot in this session. Accepting outside structure and support is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of clarity and courage, and just being smart about how to set yourself up for success. Right now, SLAP is available in English and Spanish. So right now you're proficient in English and Spanish, although our mission is most certainly to continue to expand the languages it's available in, so it can be as accessible to as many incredible small business owners as possible. And you, of course, do need access to a computer or basic Wi-Fi. I say this statement in every room I go to all the time. We welcome business owners from all industries, locations, races, religions, gender expressions, sexual orientations, physical abilities, neurodiversities, and backgrounds. The thing that makes Silver Lining incredible is the fact that we have so much representation in our community, that we are not all the same, that we come from such diverse points of view, but with a similar goal: to create businesses that create opportunities for our families and our communities and the economy. And so it is in our shared mission and in our great difference that I believe the strength of this community really lives. Now, let me come up to full-time job and primary source of income for a second. Let's talk about side hustles for just 1 minute. I want to give a caveat that the world has been very hard in the last couple of years. Industries have changed, economies have shifted, what used to work doesn't work anymore. I also want to call out the fact that a lot of our SLAP community are caregivers, women. There's a lot of competing priorities, financial pressure going on in the world at large and in our community in particular. And so I don't want you to think that I am tone deaf. In an ideal world, as we're going to really explore together today, the time and the money that you have to invest in creating a career for yourself has its best chance of success when it is focused on one thing. We have an unending amount of data to prove that when you have a full-time job and a small business, your chance of success in your small business is really, really low, arguably like probably under 10%. So I understand, and we're going to talk about this a bit more later. I understand that your business may not be generating enough revenue for you to live your life. And so you need to find alternative sources of income. I am a believer in a side gig, a full-time commitment to your small business with a side gig, more than I am a believer in having a full-time job and then building your business as a side hustle. So here's the difference. Business is your primary source of income, primary focus, and you work a part-time job that it doesn't take any of your brain, just takes, work at Starbucks or work at a coffee shop or do something that brings in the income that you need for a short period of time, but doesn't distract your mental energy and focus from your primary business. So if you're suffering from cash flow realities and serious financial pressure, again, we're going to talk about this more as we go because SLAP is very much about solving that problem. But consider the fact that you need to be a 100% focus on your small business if you want it to succeed, with a side gig for short-term cash flow versus having a full-time job trying to build a side hustle. All right, let's keep going on that. Now, as you have gotten to know Silver Lining, you'll know that there's these 4 things that we do. SLAP is our primary business. It's our primary focus. It's our tech-enabled, data-driven, behavior change, science-based SaaS platform to help you set and hit your financial goals. That's what we're going to talk about today. SLAP Capital is an experiment we started a couple of years ago, and we've now lent over $1 million in small business loans where we are underwriting 100% based on SLAP behavioral data. No credit scores, no financial statements, no bank account statements, no collateral, no personal guarantees, because I believe that the behavior that we see you all exhibit inside of SLAP, the dedication, the determination, the setting of goals, the optimizing of behavior to hit those goals, that is a far better sign of credit worthiness than the traditional credit score, which is steeped in injustice, especially if you're a woman or a person of color. God help all of us trying to get good credit if we're not in a certain class of people. So SLAP Capital is about creating capital products that really meet the needs of you small business owners, and then underwriting based on SLAP behavioral data that you have agency and control over, not that has systemic injustice steeped around it. And then we're constantly trying to innovate. Every time you guys see a new product launched, a new feature in SLAP Center, that's not a bunch of people at Silver Lining sitting in a room deciding what's best for you. We have a small business first design process where we listen to you, we invite you into the design process, and then we use our resources to design what you guys tell us you need. That's how we built Silver Lining Capital. That's how we built SLAP Center. And that's how we will continue to build everything we ever create for you, with your voice at the table telling us what you need, and then us responding to give it to you. And then if you haven't heard of Thank You Small Business yet, I think some of you in the room have actually been Thank You Small Business winners, which makes me very happy. Thank You Small Business is a pet project that I started in 2008. And it's with the idea that being a small business owner is a thankless job. Our staff want more from us. Our family wants more from us. Our government wants more from us. Our community wants more from us. Everybody is a little bit mad at us. I keep saying this to everyone lately. No matter how hard I work and no matter what I do, I've got at least 45 people who are mad at me right now. This is the joy of being a business owner. And so Thank You Small Business is actually kind of like the Make-A-Wish Foundation, but for all of you. It's a global movement that celebrates, supports, and thanks all of you for every single thing you do for your families, your teams, your communities, and the economy. We give away thank you prizes, just spa days, something fun, a new laptop, just things that are full of joy and fun and life. And we encourage the community, the world around us, to choose community over convenience, and to really remember that the best way to thank a small business is to buy from a small business. And so our mission is to move money into the hands of small businesses. So if you think of it like this, SLAP is helping you set and hit financial goals, learning how to build profitable, sustainable revenue. Slap Capital is designing and offering capital products to help you get access to capital you may need to help you grow. And then Thank You Small Business is trying to create consumer awareness that they need to buy from you so that you can hit those sales goals you set in your Slap account. So we're really trying to build this ecosystem of solutions that meet your needs and help you ultimately make more money doing what you love. Now, I'm going to skip that slide and let's go into talking about how we do this. So our work at Silver Lining is broken into these 4 concepts. The first is striving for silver. Now, striving for silver may seem like a, what's the right word for this? I can't think of the right word for it right now, but I'll come back to it. It may seem like it doesn't make sense. To strive is to be ambitious. It is to push yourself, to go so hard, to give it all you've got, to strive. And silver is associated with being second place. And my belief is that what Silver Lining has been trying to prove to the world for the last 20 years is that when we strive for silver, we can create a world where everyone wins. Instead of it being about one person winning in an outsized way, gold, we can all win together. And so in a world that has truly become obsessed with all the wrong things in the world, we are fighting for a world where we are all using our small businesses to align mindset, profit, and impact, because I really believe that business is a powerful tool for justice. And that if we run our businesses differently, we can and we will change the world as a community. So how do we do this? First of all, silver, not gold. Gold is all about being number one. It means growth at all costs. It says bigger is always better. Gold sacrifices the collective for the individual. Striving for silver is about winning together. It is about aligning our mindset, our profit, and our impact. And it is about recognizing and owning the fact that small is big. I say this to all of you all the time. And if any of you will listen to me, I'd be so happy. Growing a small business is not a small thing. Accomplishing your SLAP goals is not a small thing. What you are doing is big. And every single thing about behavior change science and macroeconomics proves it. And we're going to keep talking about that. Now, it is also critical that we reclaim entrepreneurship for all of us. We have fallen into some sort of cult of entrepreneurship that I think is absolutely ridiculous, that glorifies venture funding as like this huge, huge sign of success. I will tell you guys all my story about venture capital if you ever want to hear it. But the short version is I got pitched a lot. I went down the road. I got bought into this hype of if I had venture capital, then I would be a sign of my success. And then I eventually turned all the term sheets down because I realized, wait a minute, I'm not values aligned with anything in these contracts. And who said this is the definition of success? And I've had so many people say to me, oh, so you're less ambitious than I thought because you didn't take the venture capital. And I always say back, actually, no, I am more ambitious than you thought because I did not take the venture capital. The entrepreneur illusion says that we must build businesses that raise millions and sell for billions. The entrepreneur illusion says that we need to worship the 1% of tech bros and celebrity entrepreneurs that are out there that are getting outsized attention and glory, and quite frankly, are all human beings that I would never want to be friends with, in business with, never mind actually model my success after. So instead, we are a community that prioritizes profitable revenue as the best form of capital. We are building businesses that align mindset and profit and impact with the goal of creating freedom and influence for every single person in this room. And we are lionizing everyday people, often in particular those who are marginalized, who make an astoundingly significant contribution to our community and the economy. Now, how does this play out? There's 3 core beliefs that I run Silver Lining with. Number 1 is that we have to celebrate small. Many small actions are more powerful than one big action. And small growth by many small business owners is more powerful than one person with outside success. If all of us succeed a little bit, that is so much better than if one of us succeeds a lot. If each of us are committed to small changes in our behavior, we are going to have more successful lives in the long term than if we do one big thing that we hope and pray magically changes our whole life. Next, we've got to create real change. How many of you, right, have been getting these emails, these pitches? If you just take my 3-week course, you're going to magically become more profitable. If you just write your emails in this way, if you just read this book about how to set up your social media account, you'll become a millionaire. There's all these ridiculous ideas that if we just like do this one thing, then we're going to magically have this big outcome. That is not how business works. I am not a dumb person, I wouldn't say. And I have yet to find a get rich quick scheme. I've yet to find the thing that just like solves everything all at once. There's no magical hire. There's no magical campaign. There's no magical book to read. There's no magical course to take. That's not
okay,
how this
so
works.
that's why that's
It is
happening.
not how it happens. But we can create real change. And real change starts with one action followed by ongoing focus and discipline for a sustained period of time. And I always say this about slap. Slap is not sexy. There is no sex appeal to what we are teaching. We are not preaching what we want to hear. What we want to hear is just do this one thing and everything will be magically better. What we're preaching is actually no, change is really hard and change takes a long time and change takes a lot of focus and a lot of discipline. But it is actually possible to change things if we're committed to an outcome, not hoping for a quick win. And so let's create real change for each of ourselves as individuals, for the businesses we run, for the community we're in, right, and for the global economy. And then lastly, I am a massive believer that we can and must use business as a tool for justice. To change the world, we need businesses that create systemic change and operate with justice principles, not philanthropy, CSR, or impact initiatives. If I could ask all of you guys to consider one thing, don't start a foundation. This idea that we are going to create wealth in our businesses and then create a foundation to do good, and then all of a sudden make donations to nonprofits, that is not working. Think about what happens in the economy. People get successful as business leaders. We make money. And then as a tax haven, primarily, we move our money into a foundation. We start a foundation to do good. And then we do our good work in a foundation and we run our business in a business. And all of a sudden, we're literally creating this divide that is happening in the world. Businesses make money at all costs. And then the do-gooders are over there in foundations and civil service trying to like fix the mess that businesses are creating. We need to create a holistic society where business owners, like every one of us, are paying taxes and distributing our profit back to our teams, creating collective success as the business grows, and leaving our money in the economy, not moving it over into foundations and participating in these crazy systems that are not working. Let's not divide business and good. Let's align mindset and profit and contribution and impact. Justice is about building business models that address systemic injustice through its core work. We have a number of choices we've made as a business that most business people think I'm completely insane for, but I'm not doing a social cause that's trendy so that I can write a press release. I'm actually trying to use my business as a tool for justice. And so all these things, I'll say this, living through COVID with all of you guys, everyone and their dog cared about small business all of a sudden, and people of color and women for about 2 years. And then every one of those people that cared so much about creating a better world and creating equality, as soon as the economy started to get a little wobbly, went back into self-protection mode. People doing impact work because it's the thing that is trendy is actually harmful. We need to be building business models that address systemic change in our work, not as a campaign. And then lastly, I'm going to challenge all of you as your companies get bigger. Don't create a CSR team. Don't create a DEI team. Don't create an impact officer. Don't put impact in a little box on your org design and count on somebody to do it. Everything you do as a company should be aligned to the values you hold. It's not a department. It's a value set. It's an operating principle. So a company-wide commitment to justice needs to be everywhere, not in one place off to the side. These are choices Silver Lining has made. I want to give a shout out. A lot of our team members are in the room, and we operate Silver Lining in a very alternative way. And it takes a level of personal sacrifice and collective thinking to accept and participate and be proud of running a business like this. Because as a group of people working together, Many people at Silver Lining have sacrificed, the highest possible salary or the highest personal gain in order to live in this collective model. So we have these operating principles where we put this to work. I consistently turn down venture capital and private equity offers to ensure that we stay 100% committed to all of you. You guys are our primary stakeholder, and we make every decision at Silver Lining small business first. We have an access for all pricing policy that many of you know about. If a small business owner makes less than 250,000 US dollars a year in annual revenue, you decide what you can afford to pay for our product, and you get the exact same amount of support, service, care from our team as someone paying the full $300 a month. We have a global fair pay rule where we have a public compensation chart. We have staff on every continent except for Antarctica. And it would be so easy to pay those who live in, let's say, North America more than we pay those that live in Southeast Asia. That's not what we do. We pay the same people for the same job, regardless of where they live. And it's a public compensation chart to hold ourselves accountable to that. Also gender, by the way, to make sure that everyone that has a job and is contributing gets paid equally. We have a 10-to-1 max pay ratio. I and the most senior level people at Silver Lining will never make more than 10 times our lowest paid person, regardless again of location. We distribute 100% of our profit back to our staff on an annual basis. I participate in that same success share model. I share in it with them, but I don't get something different. And we're proudly for profit. We're not doing this as a nonprofit organization. We're doing this as a financially sustainable organization with no investors and no debt, 100% focused on creating a more just world. And so we are determined, I am determined to prove to the world that all these things we teach, it is not me on a soapbox. It's me living it day to day. And I will tell you, it has been freaking hard. I always say that Silver Lining is almost 20 years old, but I think I look about 155 because it's been hard to build it this way. I would not make a different choice once. I would do it all again if I had to. I will keep doing it for the next 80 or 90 or 100 years as long as I'm alive. But it is a different way of operating. But it is, I believe, the way we need to operate. And so this is what I want for us. I want all of us to build our businesses so that our business is at the center of how we think about how to become higher performing with the time we have, more profitable and sustainable with the money we make, and actually more impactful and just oriented with the impact and contribution that we make because of our business, not outside of our business or not after we get rich. And I believe that human beings that can align our time, our money, and our contribution, our time, our money, and our impact, when we can get those into deep alignment and they all grow together, they don't have to compete with each other. Our small businesses are the place to align them. And so this is the silver standard. This is what I hope we as a global community of business owners and leaders create together. A global economy of business owners who are using our businesses to create real change in the world. And that as individuals, we're aligning our time, our money, and our impact together. This is the silver standard. Now, as I go, I'm just going to quickly check the chat. I see that we got a lot going on in chat. If you guys have questions, maybe Sashini and Colombo, you guys can just put your hand up maybe if there's a question that you want to stop me for. Is that okay?
Yes, that's okay.
Okay, perfect. I'll just keep going and then I'm going to read all the notes after. So leave all your good, juicy chats, comments. So the second principle, first, we're going to strive for silver together. Second, small is big. I am going to zoom through this very quickly, but what I want you to understand is that your success matters. You are not running something small. A small business is big. Your small success is big. Small business is big. These are some stats. Small businesses make massive contributions to the world. We run a huge number of businesses. We contribute way more to the global GDP than big businesses. We employ way more people than big businesses. And we are significantly more likely to be minority owned, meaning we're creating all these jobs and all this growth for the collective, for different people who typically have got all the power and all the money. So you are not nothing. Your business is not small. It is big. Small actions equal big results. If we want to create a better economy for all, we need all of you small businesses, every one of us that own businesses, to make small actions that we can do to improve our success. That's what SLAP is for. And then we need consumers to make small day-to-day actions to change how they spend their money. That's what Thank You Small Business is for. When those two things are both happening, there is more small business success. More money is being moved into small businesses, and more small businesses are equipped and organized and strategically ready to take that money, to make those sales. When all that happens, more small businesses grow. It creates a better economy for all. Our whole Thank You Small Business movement is based on this idea of choosing community over convenience. And as we talk about, small business owners put it all on the line to build businesses that all of us benefit from. And so as we challenge corporations and consumers every day through the Thank You Small Business movement, what will you put on the line to protect our communities and the economy? By the way, if you're in this room and you are a small business owner, an advocate, a Silver Lining team member, buy from small businesses. You know, again, there's this big election happening today, but we can all vote with our money. Every single one of us. Where you buy your coffee from, are you buying it at Starbucks or a local small business? Where you buy your gifts from, are you buying it on Amazon because the shipping is quick and easy, or are you going to a local small business and getting it there? Are you ordering your flowers from 1-800-flowers.com or the local flower shop? Where we spend our money matters. If every single one of us committed to buying from each other, we would probably all hit our sales goals. Let's use our money. Let's buy from each other. It matters. Now, 98% of our Thank You Prize winners globally said they've never been thanked before. Isn't that sad? Let's get out and support each other. Let's be the community thanking each other, supporting each other. And by the way, just as a little side note, if you know an incredible small business, if you are one, go to thankyouSmallBusiness.com and you can nominate yourself or another small business for a thank you prize. Just so you know, that's always available. If you just want to recognize someone that you think is amazing, go nominate them for a thank you prize, and we will do our best to show them some love. We must celebrate, support, thank small business owners for all that they do, and we must buy from them. We must buy from each other. We must buy from you. Okay, so I'm going to continue to keep going through this. The third big point, I'm going to zoom through this. This is a more technical section of our work, but we've got to change the global economy one small business at a time. What I will tell you in the short term, in the short version of it, is that we know for sure that when any human is given adequate structure and support, small business owners can and will succeed. You can succeed. The reason 80% fail is not because 80% of us are failures. The industry is failing you. We as the small business, think of all the financial institutions, the government agencies, the nonprofits, the economic development work, the programs, the accelerators, the boot camps, all these things that are created to help you succeed. We are spending billions of dollars on small business success. And yet, for many, 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 many decades, the success rate of small businesses has not improved. That is an indictment on the industry, not an indictment on you, the individual. And so we spend a lot of our work advocating across the small business industry globally, saying we've got to fix the industry. We've got to do better by small businesses. We've got to give you better resources. We've got to do better. And why? Again, because when small businesses succeed, we all succeed. Families have opportunity, jobs are created, communities are restored, the economy grows in a more just way. Now, we believe in economic justice, not aid. I don't think you guys are charity cases. I don't think nonprofits should be doing the work of helping small businesses. You guys are business owners and you simply deserve access, not aid. You deserve the same access, structure, and support as every human on the planet does. As we do this work, it is worth noting, probably many of you participated in this survey, but last year we did a survey of our global community. And the reason I get so fiery about our work is that I know how hard it is, and I know how much pressure you're all under. 75% of our global community said that you have varying degrees of stated concern about your mental health. 56% have been diagnosed with anxiety, depression, or a stress-related problem by a mental health professional. We're holding massive pressure as business owners all the time, all the time. And if we don't address that, and if we don't get everyone that is under that much pressure the right structure and support, Of course we fail. Of course we give up. Of course we don't power through. It's impossible to hold that much pressure alone. We have got to be in it together, and we've got to give you adequate support. Now, in every survey of all time, forever and ever and ever, as long as I have been working at Silver Lining, which is almost 20 years, I ask every small business owner I meet, do you have enough time and do you have enough money? And 100% of the time, everyone says no. So I'll ask you all in the room to go into chat. If anybody in this room has too much time or too much money, please put it into the chat that you have too much time or too much money. And then we all laugh together and we giggle. We say, that's so funny. Haha, LOL. Exactly. So we are facing, as business owners, this sustained pressure we're under, and that pressure is undeniable. It is real. I don't want to minimize it. It's a real truth. And we are all struggling with having not enough time and not enough money to put the resources in place around us in order to get what we need to manage that pressure and to get to the outcomes that we all want. This is what I built SLAP for. This is literally why I built SLAP, to give us a framework, a structure, a community to manage this pressure in a way that does not take a huge amount of time or money, that will allow us to ultimately actually create more time and money in the long term. So I'm going to zip through this, but let me just say this for a second. As we think about how we get you the right resources, one of my concerns, and I'm going to say this to all of you with love in my heart, is the number of small business owners that have become deeply focused on getting grants as the way to generate revenue for your business. I love a good grant. Don't get me wrong. If you can fill out an application or win a prize and get a grant, fabulous. I'm not against it. But in general, grants should be used for rewards and in crisis. When governments around the world issued tons of grants during COVID, that was the right thing to do. When a small business enters a contest and wins a $25,000 prize as a reward, I love it. I think it's great. But it is not a business model to be a for-profit small business that is constantly reliant on grants. The number one thing all of us need to be focused on is building profitable, sustainable revenue. That is what SLAP is designed to help you do. Before we talk about debt, equity, and most certainly not to be reliant on grants, we need to be talking about how we make sure every single one of us in this room has the right strategy, structure, and support to build a profitable and sustainable business. When your strategy is accurate, when you've got the right plan, when you're focused on profitable, sustainable revenue, then we can explore. Maybe you need debt. Maybe you need a SLAP loan, but that should only be debt to help you build your business at a reasonable interest rate, at an amount you can afford to carry. I cannot tell you guys how many people have signed up for SLAP in genuine financial crisis, but that financial crisis was born out of taking on a bad loan. We think that getting a loan is going to answer all of our problems. If you think about it, if the interest rate is higher than your profit margin and you're already struggling with your cash flow, and you now have to pay back a loan with a large monthly payment at a high interest rate, the numbers don't work. Loans, if they're not right, structured properly, fair and just, and right sized to your needs, can sink you, not help you. They're not the answer. They're a tool to use smartly and strategically if and when it makes sense. Now, investment, if I had $1 for every Slapster that told me they wanted to raise investment equity, right? I need a VC, I need equity investment, I need investors. You probably don't. I am living proof that you can build a business without investors. Now, I'm not against the idea of investment capital, but when an investor invests in a business like yours or mine, they are expecting an exit. They are expecting you to create a big return, and they want it within 5 to 8 years in general. And so it puts a completely different pressure on you as a business owner to think about how you're going to grow your business. It changes the game. It's not necessarily a good or bad game. It's not a right or wrong game, but it is a different game. Building an organically growing, profitable, sustainable business is a different game than raising venture capital and building something to exit and sell. So you have to decide what game you're playing. Our community of business owners are playing the first game. We're building profitable, sustainable businesses where we have freedom and influence, where we align our money and our profit and our time and our impact together, and then use our business as a tool for systemic change. That's the game we're playing at Silver Lining. Again, it's not bad to play a different game, but it is a different game. And it's very difficult to run your small business like a small business where you have freedom and influence and authority and power while also taking on outside investment. And so there's a lot of confusion, I think, in the small business community, where instead of focusing on sales, generating profitable, sustainable revenue, I see you guys spending an inordinate amount of time applying for loans, trying to pitch investors, applying for grants. Imagine if you took all that energy and you just went and made some sales. Profitable, sustainable revenue leaves you in power. It leaves you in authority. There's no one you have to pay back. It's your own income. It allows you to build something that can sustain beyond you. So that is what we're here to really figure out. That is what SLAP is for. Now, I'm going to go all the way through this, and I am going to get us to this part, which is the fourth concept, the fourth big idea at Silver Lining, which is that small businesses really can succeed. We have worked with over 14,000 businesses. It's actually a bigger number now in 77 countries, not 76 now. And when Slapsters are fully engaged, we see an average first year increase of 27% in revenue. Slapsters have generated $3 billion in revenue. And we have very specific signs and very specific behaviors that we know if you do, you will basically guarantee your success. And the entire SLAP system is built to help you do those behaviors to set, to hit the goals that you set. So I am convinced you can succeed. I've got the data to prove it. And let's talk about what we need to do to get you set up for that success. Now, if this is true, if you absolutely undeniably can succeed, if I have bet my career on this truth, why do so many of us fail? What happens? So for those of you who've been Slapsters for a long time, let's go back to the basics. Cash flow capacity catch-22. When I started Silver Lining almost 20 years ago, I interviewed 400 business owners, and I was really, really intentional to make sure that the 400 business owners that I interviewed were as different and as diverse as humanly possible. I wanted to not just have, a data set of a bunch of people that look the same in the same industry, with the same circumstance. So I went out of my way to try to make sure that these 400 interviews were with people experiencing very different realities. What every single one of them said to me, not surprising, is that they don't have enough time and they don't have enough money. Going back to just a couple slides earlier. And the reality is, what is also unfortunate is that you need more time to make more money, you tell me, and you need more money to make more time. And we call this the cash flow capacity catch-22. Now, in order for us to really dive into this, let's think about the frustration of being a small business owner. See if you can feel this in your bones. You don't feel like you have enough time and you don't feel like you have enough money. You feel like you need to make more money in order to create more time, and you feel like you need to create more time in order to have more money. Now, what does it take to grow your business? You need more time and more money. And this is what we call the cash flow capacity catch-22. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I need more money to make more time. I need more time to make more money. I want to grow my business. Growing my business needs time and money. This is the cash flow capacity catch-22. Now, can any of you relate to being in the cash flow capacity catch-22? Hand up, Scouts honor, don't lie. We've all been there. The reality is it never goes away. There's this myth that I think we have that if our business just gets magically big enough, if we magically get more successful, we will no longer feel stressed about time and money. We will no longer be under pressure and everything will be magical. I am here to tell you that is not true. I've been saying this in all of our world tour stops and all of my staff meetings. Silver Lining is bigger than it's ever been. We are, for all intents and purposes, more successful than we've ever been. I have more stress around time and money than I have ever had. I am in the cash flow capacity catch-22. Growth is expensive. It takes a lot of time and a lot of money. And so bigger is not always better. Bigger comes with the need to have a higher level of capacity to manage this cash flow capacity catch-22. So it doesn't go away. And that means that we all need to get better at managing it. We need to build the skills, the resilience, and the capacity to manage the cash flow capacity catch-22. Now, when we're under pressure, all of us have natural instincts. Some of us have the natural instinct of going into planning paralysis. Planning paralysis sounds something like, I'll just build a new website. I'll hire 5 more consultants. I'll build a 27-year plan that's going to be perfect. I think I need a new logo. I think if I redesign this program, it'll be magically better. I think if I go back and I do, and we go plan and plan and plan and plan, and we never take action. The opposite of that is action frenzy. Action frenzy is where we just try to do everything. We go to networking events, we launch Instagram posts, we do referral campaigns, we go to trade shows, we travel. We're so busy doing so many things that we never can get to any actual outcome. So for me, if you're in the room and if you're paying attention, I'm going to just open up my screen a little bit so I can see all of you better. Use the party emoji if your instinct is action frenzy. You're just gonna go, 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 go. You're gonna solve your problems by doing a million, gajillion things. Throw a little party emoji up if you are an action frenzy person. That's your natural instinct. All of you that haven't put an emoji up yet, you're probably in planning paralysis. So you know your answer. If you are a planning paralysis person, if your instinct is planning paralysis, I need to plan before I can figure out what to do, then put a little heart emoji up. Give yourself a little love. There's no right or wrong answer to being a planning paralysis instinct or an action frenzy instinct. Both are actually very unproductive. Both don't help us. What's important is to recognize that we as humans have natural instincts. And 99% of the time, our natural instincts are not helpful. They are not instincts that are going to get us in the right direction. And so when we're under sustained pressure, when the cash flow capacity catch-22 is incredibly challenging, when we feel like we don't have enough time or enough money and we need more of it because we're trying to grow our business, what we need to be careful about and what we need to become skilled at is understanding when we're about to make choices or when we have made choices to move into planning paralysis or into action frenzy, and learn the skill of intervening on ourselves. Learn the skill of basically hijacking that instinct and getting back into the right action. Now, if we stay in planning paralysis or action frenzy for too long, we get stuck. Stuck stage 1 sounds like, oh my God, I am so busy. Has anyone in this room lived with the busy badge of honor? You just talk about how busy you are all the time. I say, how are you? And you say busy. That is not a feeling. That is not a way of being. That is a state of being. How many of you, tell the truth, put a little hand up, any emoji will do, add an emoji or a reaction to the chat or the screen. How many of you have ever been stuck stage 1? Too busy. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. I'm looking at all of these almost 200 beautiful faces and screens, and many of you are lying because every single one of you have been stuck stage 1. I promise. Okay, now if we stay stuck stage 1 for too long, we become overwhelmed. Overwhelmed sounds like, oh my God, I can't keep up. I'm feeling anxious all the time. I'm feeling like there's no way I'm ever going to get on top of things. Overwhelmed, you lose track. Overwhelmed, your brain gets clouded. Overwhelmed, you become less of a high performer. You become less resilient. You become less effective in your overwhelm, which is ironically the last thing we need, right? That's why we start to get ourselves into some real trouble. So how many of you have ever moved from stuck stage 1 into stuck stage 2? Overwhelmed. Emoji out, emoji up, tell the truth. I am going to guarantee, look at those emojis. Look at all that truth telling. Me too. I teach this crap. I created the methodology, and I do too. We all do. This is the human experience. Okay, now, if we stay overwhelmed for too long, what happens? How many of you ever said, oh my God, I've lost my passion? I used to love my business so much. Now I just don't even care. I've lost my passion. Emojis out. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. I'm looking at Ingrid smiling. Most business owners have said these words. I've lost my passion. You can't lose your passion, for the record. It can't go anywhere. It doesn't have legs, but it can be overridden by exhaustion. Stuck stage 3, when you're saying I've lost my passion, what you're really saying is I am tired. I am wore out. I have spent so long being busy and overwhelmed and running around like a chicken with a head cut off and being in planning paralysis and being stuck in cash flow capacity catch 22 and living under pressure. I am wore out. It sounds like I've lost my passion. The truth is you're tired. Now, if you stay in stuck stage 3 for too long, you arrive at stuck stage 4. I want to quit. Businesses do not fail because of the economy, because of the politicians, because of the labor, because of the supply chain. They fail because a business owner quits. The only reason your business will end is because you will decide to shut it down. And the only reason that you will get to the point where you want to shut your business down is because you will not have done an intervention soon enough. Your job is not to be perfect. It's impossible. Your job is not to magically live in, a beautiful abundance of unlimited time and money. That's not happening. It's not the deal. Your job is to build the skill set and the resiliency and the critical thinking skills of how to make the best choices possible so that you spend the time and money that you have in the most efficient ways so that you can manage the cash flow capacity catch 22, not eliminate it, manage it. In order to grow Silver Lining, I have had to get better, more skilled, and more strong, quite frankly, at managing the cash flow capacity catch 22 pressure. I'm not very good at it. I still get frustrated. I still get wore out. I still cycle through stuck stage 1, stuck stage 2. I still end up in planning paralysis. I still have action frenzy. I make every single one of those choices. Every single one. It happens to me all day long, every day. And I am better at managing the cash flow capacity catch 22 than I was 5 years ago. And I have more capacity for that pressure today than I did 10 years ago. And I never get to stuck stage 3 or 4 yet. I'm sure one day I might again, but I haven't in a very long time because I have built the skill of intervening on myself when I start to hear myself say the words, oh my God, I'm so busy. Oh my God, I've overwhelmed. When I feel that gut in my stomach of like, I am screwed. I am so overwhelmed. I need to intervene. And by the way, I was on the verge of stuck stage 3 recently. I would say I was really on the verge. I had a big health issue last year. I had to have major surgery. The company grew really quickly. The economy's been really hard. All of you who I care so much about are going through all sorts of trauma in your lives because of how messed up the world is. It's tough to be the CEO of Silver Lining right now. Like it's tough to be the CEO of each of your lives and your businesses right now. And I really had to take a minute. I hired a personal trainer. I hired a mental fitness coach. I went on 2 vacations. I put stronger boundaries in place with my team. I'm trying to manage my calendar differently. I'm trying to collaborate with my executive manager to be really rigorous about making sure that I'm not in constant stress because we're more prepared for stuff. Like I am intervening on myself, not because of anything other than I'll never quit. That's not happening. And I'm not going to let myself get to stuck stage 3. It's too dangerous. I need to hold myself accountable to be equipped and resilient to build this business I built, as do every single one of you. So if you want to be successful, if you want to modify your behavior to hit your goals, if you want to use your business to grow your time and your money and your impact, I need you to embrace this core concept of slack. Every dollar you spend and every minute you spend must be aligned with your goals. We don't have enough time and money to do everything. but we do actually have enough time and money. We actually have enough time and money to hit the goals we set for ourselves. We have enough time and money for our highest priorities. We have enough time and money to accomplish success. I promise you. But we waste a lot of it. I always say, a business owner will come up to me and say, Krissa, oh my God, I need your help with my business. And I always say, show me your credit card statement and show me your calendar. And I will tell you if you are serious about growing your business. Because if time is scattered everywhere, if things are messy and unorganized, if money is being spent on a bunch of stuff you don't need, you're going to have a hard time succeeding. But if you take complete control of your time and your money and you allocate it against your highest priorities, you will absolutely succeed at whatever goal is right for you. Not the goal I say is right for you, the goal that you say is right for you, which we're going to talk about in a second. So this is what SLAP is all about. We'll send this to all of you guys so you can scan it here if you want. But as part of our mission to help small business owners build this capacity to handle this pressure of being a business owner, we created the DStress guide. We worked with mental health professionals and created this really great guide full of free resources to help you manage and grow your mental resiliency, your mental fitness, which is a term I'm really enjoying lately. So that's there for you. Now, let's slap. How do we do this? How do we align our time and our money against our highest priorities? How do we set goals that are in integrity with our values and our desire to grow our time and our money and our impact? First, we talk about commitment. Commitment is a choice. I cannot change your business. You cannot change my business. I cannot change my 11-year partner. He cannot change me. I cannot change you. You cannot change me. We cannot change each other, but we can change ourselves. And so commitment is a choice, is based on all principles of behavior change science, everything on the planet, which is that only each of us, only you can decide if you are ready to change, if you are ready to optimize your actions to get the results you say you want. This is a choice. It is a choice. It is not magical. It is not coming for you. There's no savior. It is a choice any of us can make at any moment in our life, at any given time when we're ready to make it. And this is my one joke of the day. Everyone get ready for it. It's on the screen. It's my favorite joke. No one ever laughs, but I'm going to try anyways. There is no silver bullet. There is no magical, whimsical Prince savior marketing campaign, program, accelerator, bootcamp, investor, employee. It's not coming. There's no silver bullet, but there is a silver lining. Get it, guys? Tough crowd. No one ever likes this joke. It's my favorite joke. Okay. All right. Thank you. I got one. I saw that one hand up. Thank you. The man behind Nicole. Okay. So let's talk about what you do need. If there's no silver bullet, what is there? How do we get this right? Here's all the things you've probably been trained to say you need, right? Tell me if I'm wrong. I need a business plan. I need a social media strategy. I need a personal brand. I need more revenue. I need more staff. I need a lead gen strategy for quick results. I need more courses and seminars and workshops and an MBA. No, you don't. What you need instead is an action plan. Don't build a 20-year business plan that's going to be out of date the second you write it, and also that you'll never look at ever again. Let's be honest. You need an action plan that moves you into the right action. You don't need a social media strategy unless your ideal client uses social media. What you need is to figure out who your ideal client is and the most efficient and effective way of connecting with them. You don't need a personal brand. You need a well-run business, my friends. Reputation is built by doing good work, not by posting about your fake good work on the internet. You need more revenue. No, you don't. You need more profit. I would rather you have a business that makes $200,000 a year with $50,000 in profit than one that makes $1 million a year in revenue with $5,000 in profit. Why do we idolize revenue? Let's really focus on profit. Let's get profit in your hands. You need more staff. That's what everyone tells me they think the answer is to all their problems. If I just had more staff, I love our team. Everyone in the room, you know this, how much I love you. I hope there's not a person that's silver lining that doesn't think I love them so much. And it is hard to have staff. It is expensive. It takes a ton of work. It takes a ton of energy. It's hard. It's not some magic silver bullet. It is an investment of serious resources to build a team that works well. So really what I want for all of you is a focus on sustainability. How do we make your businesses run better? You're not going to get fast results. That's not the way the world works. We need a long-term plan for real growth. And I don't think you need tons of courses and seminars and workshops and MBAs. I really don't. An MBA is like the antithesis of what you need to know to run a small business. It is actually the opposite approach to business. What you need is a foundational understanding of how to build a profitable and sustainable small business. That is what I built SLAP to give you. Side note, I recognize that we're all sitting together in a workshop. As I say, you should not go to more workshops. So just so you know, I know the irony of everything I just said, but I'm glad we're all here together. Now, how do we live into this true commitment? You cannot be committed if you are not telling the truth. I think that small business owners lie to me and ourselves and each other all day long. Not because we're bad people, but because we're not willing to tell the truth. And I can't figure out why exactly. But in order for us to succeed, in order for us to do the choice of commitment, that commitment has got to be rooted, baked deeply in your truth. What is true for Jezebel is not true for Ingrid. What is true for Ingrid is not true for Joe. What is true for Rhonda is not true for Samuel. What's true for Samuel is not true for Avery. What's true for Avery is not true for Eddie. What's true for Eddie is not true for me. The whole point of being a business owner is to have your own truth built into your life and your business. And you need to know the truth, your own truth, to 5 questions. I say this all the time. There is no right or wrong answer to these questions, but it is wrong to not know your answer to these questions. And we get so caught up again in this culture of entrepreneurship, this hype culture, where we think that there is a certain thing that is successful, or we think we need to be a certain way or build a business that looks a certain way to have succeeded. And I am desperate to convince all of you that that is not true. Wouldn't it be amazing if we as a global community of business owners each built businesses that were exactly right for us, and then embrace the fact that each of us are going to make totally different decisions about how we define success and how we do that, and then celebrate that beautiful difference. This is the point of being a business owner. You have freedom and agency. Don't give it up. Don't let culture of entrepreneurship hijack your own ability to choose what's right for you. So the 5 questions. What do you want most? What do you most want your business to contribute to the world? I have never met a small business owner whose primary motivation is money. Ever, 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 ever. There is always some other reason you are building your business. What is it? What do you want it to contribute? If we can gamify you against that impact goal, we can move your behavior more effectively than if we try to move your behavior against your financial goal. This is one of like the great funny truths about SLAP. If I say, hey, Sean, if you do these 3 things, you're going to make an extra $500 this week. Our data is confident about that. Sean will say, okay, Krista, that's so nice. And then she'll not do those 3 things. If I call Sean and I say, hey, Sean, if you do these 3 things, you'll hit your financial goals. And also I'll like give you a free laptop. She'll totally do it. You guys love prizes. But most importantly, if I say, hey, Sean, if you do these 3 things, our data is telling us if you do these 3 things, you will hit that financial goal and you will be able to make this contribution to your family or your community or the economy, this thing you care about, Sean will do it for sure. We are motivated. We move in the direction of our values. And if we don't tell the truth about what our values are, we spend a lot of time in torture chamber, stuck, not moving freely because we're saying we want something, but it's different than what really matters to us. And then we can't get there. And then we make the mistake of thinking we're failures. That's not true. We're misaligned. So What do you want your business to contribute to the world? For real, why did you start this thing? What is at the root for you? What do you most need from your business to live a healthy life? You are not your business. Your business is not you. I am not silver lining. Silver lining is not me. I need a couple things from this company for me to live a healthy life, right? I need high performing staff so that I don't have to work constantly. I need to get paid enough money to pay my bills. I need it to actually make an impact. I can't dedicate my career to something that I don't think is going to create real change in the world. So it needs to be run in such a way that I can feel confident that my work matters. I need some things from silver lining. I really do. And how much money do I want to make from it? I've thought about that too. I've got a number. And how much money do I realistically have to invest in growing my business this year? I'm very clear about that. I'm very clear about what I'm willing to sacrifice and how much money I will spend to keep growing it versus to benefiting from it. And then how many hours a week do I realistically have to invest in growing my business this year? Not managing it, growing it. And I think about that constantly. And there's a series of life choices I always make to make sure I protect that number. Because if I stop spending time growing my business, what's going to happen? My business won't grow. And so for all of you lovely humans with your beautiful big hearts, you got to protect some of your time for growing your business. You can't be on 47 boards and giving back to charity every day and volunteering every Sunday and going on your church board and then also being a caregiver and then also taking your kids to school every morning and then also helping your cousin with their broke down car and then by the way, also giving away free services and products on top of it all. It's not possible. So how many hours a week are you going to sacrifice, invest, prioritize to grow your business? You got to be willing to tell the truth. When you know the truth to those 5 answers, now we can start to talk about commitment. Now, when we talk about those values, typically Slapster's values fall into one of these categories: provide for my family, create jobs, give to my community, drive the economy, create equality, help the environment. As you guys with Slaps know, right, you set an impact goal along with your financial goal. So I just want each of you to write down, right, what's true for you, right? Which of these is the most true for you? What's the root thing that you care about? Because we gotta, to be successful, we need to align against that core value, right? Mine is undeniably to create equality. I believe every human is equal and lives a dignified life and deserves a dignified life. And I believe every human should have the opportunity to live life on their own terms, to design the businesses, lives they want, you want. And so I built a business that doesn't say that. Silver Lining's mission statement is not to create equality. I just think that this is my most strategic bet with the skills and the resources and the influence I have to create equality, to help small businesses, each of you create your equality. But that's mine. And it is bigger than my cash flow capacity catch-22. It is bigger than my freak out when I'm on the verge of bankruptcy, which has happened 3 times in the last 20 years. It is bigger than me being wore out and tired. And so I can go to that when I am weary or when I am questioning my commitment. And when I go there, my commitment never falters. It is a choice that I am deeply steeped in. Now, the next thing that must be true for your commitment to be real is how you spend your time. We all have 168 hours a week. Every one of us in this room, every one of us who's not here doing something else, every one of us stuck in planning process or action frenzy, every one of us, 168. How you use those hours will be the most deciding factor in your success. Are you willing to be disciplined and focused with your time, or will you be unorganized and unfocused and undisciplined with it? It is your most critical resource. Money can feel scarce, I get that, but it is in fact finite. It is infinite, Time is finite. 168. Every week for the rest of our lives, all of us will have 168 hours a week. So how are you going to divide it? Where is it going to go? I'm going to give you very quick tips. All of us sacrifice sleep. It's the first thing we tend to sacrifice. Don't. Being tired is stuck stage 3. It is the final step before quitting. Don't let yourself get tired. Your defense mechanism to failure is to make sure you don't get so tired you decide to quit. Okay? Exercise. out the window. I was doing a terrible job of exercising after my surgery. So I hired a personal trainer. Like I can't not, and I was doing such a bad job myself. So I built in some support. I needed to get help. Friends and family, I say this with love in my heart. It is one of the biggest sucks of your time and your money and your energy. And I am the biggest advocate of being a pillar of your family, an active parent, an active spouse, a responsible daughter and son. But it is true that you are probably doing more for your friends and family than you need to do. And it is at the expense of your own mental health, probably, and your own financial success. So really look there for real. What must you do? What is a joy to do? And where is it hijacking you? Most small business owners, I would say, really forget the fun budget. I must have fun. If I don't have fun, I am very, very, very miserable. It's very critical for me to stay creative, to stay resilient. Most business owners over-invest in community. So my community budget, I actually spend 5 hours a week on community. That's not because I'm not community minded. It's because I'm actually I'm so clear that silver lining is the way for me to make the biggest impact, that it makes sense for me. I am aligned when I'm actually working more as opposed to volunteering. However, that's a huge, huge place that time goes. The irony is what you guys don't typically spend time on is business growth. Business management, yes. I know everyone here is working like crazy, but business growth is actually doing the actions that will help you find new revenue, new profitability, new sustainability, new growth in your business. And it is almost a guarantee that if you're not spending time on business growth, your business will not grow. And so when we struggle with growth, finding new customers, finding new sales, if I had $1 for every time a Slapster said to me, but Krissa, I need help finding more customers. And then I say, well, how many hours have you spent in the last month trying to connect with new customers? And then we find the truth that it's been like 0 hours. Well, it's not confusing, is it? You must spend time on business growth to get business growth. So when we think about commitment as a choice, your commitment is what you say yes and no to. That is how you realize what your real commitment is. You must say no to hustling. You must say no to overgiving. You must say no to being busy. And instead, say yes to focus, yes to discipline, yes to the highest priorities. What did I tell you guys before? Slap is not sexy, right? I wish it was more fun. Guys, if you just wrote this email, you'll be millionaires. Wouldn't that be so nice? No, that's not the truth, unfortunately. So I'm not going to tell you the fun news, but I am going to tell you the truth. Yes to focus, yes to discipline, yes to highest priorities. The reality is that you are not committed to your success. If you're looking for a silver bullet, if you think that all these sort of shallow ideas of success are the answer, if you haven't told yourself the truth about what you need, what you want, what you can contribute, if you have not really identified your values, and if you've not aligned your time against your highest priorities, that you're not committed. I can look at your calendar and I can tell you if you're committed. I can look at your credit card statement and I can tell you if you are committed. I can look at your SLAP data and I can tell you if you are committed. It is a choice. Only you can make it. Now, assuming you're committed, assuming you've made the choice, assuming you are aligned, commitment is about alignment. Now, profit is a skill. I find this to be fabulous news. By the way, Rhonda, look at how famous you are in our SLAP slides, Rhonda James. She's here. There's you. Rhonda has learned the skill of profit. It's amazing. I think she's amazing. Profit is a skill. You are an expert at what you do, but you need to build the skill of turning it into a profitable, sustainable business. That is quite literally what SLAP does. So let's assume you've made your commitment. What is the skill of profit? You need to be highly skilled at 4 things. 1, highly skilled at knowing your ideal client. 2, highly skilled at knowing and living into your SLAP statement for your strategic choices. Number 3, highly skilled at setting the right financial goal for your business. the right financial goal, not a financial goal. And then number 4, highly skilled at identifying the right connecting campaigns that will allow you to find more customers to hit your goals. That's it. No fancy business plans, no fancy spreadsheets, no fancy MBAs, no fancy P&Ls. You need to have the skill of 4 key things. For those of you with SLAP, you'll recognize those 4 things a lot. SLAP is based on one really basic concept, right? We understand that the root issue we're trying to solve is how to use the time and money that you have more effectively to get to the outcomes you want. But the premise of SLAP and all behavior change science is that our actions equal results. If you look at the results you have in your life right in this moment, your body, your bank account, your marriage, your friendships, your business, it is the result of all of the actions you have taken so far. And put no judgment on it. There's no good or bad. Those of you hitting your SLAP goals, those of you not, those of you in a happy marriage, those of you not. There's no judgment on the current reality, but there is the responsibility of accepting that your current reality is the result of all the actions you've taken so far. So any current reality that you really like, that you're really proud of, that's really working for you, you did that. High five, congratulate yourself, feel great about it, and look back at the actions you've done to accomplish that and double down. That is all the information you need. Whatever has worked so far, do more of it. You know exactly what to do because you can trace the actions to results. Now, if there was results that you want in your life that you don't have yet, I have many for the record. For the rest of my life, I will have results I have not accomplished, right? That is the plight of the human experience. What actions are you taking or not taking that we need to modify, adjust, optimize, tweak in order to get to the outcomes we want? That's it. That is behavior change science. How do we understand the results we want to accomplish? And how do we track the actions that are or are not getting us there? And instead of giving up on the outcome or changing the result we say we want, just going back and modifying the action, changing the action. Simple, 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 simple. Behavior change science is beautifully simple. The skill of profit is audaciously simple. We think it's so complicated. It's not. That's the exciting news. That's why I get really pumped. Okay, so Jason, who's our head of product, drew this, and I think it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Why does SLAP matter? What are we trying to do here? Your SLAP goal, the goal you set and hit in your SLAP, is meant to help you use your time better, to become higher performing, to grow the money you have, to grow your profitability and your sustainability, to grow the impact you have because your contribution grows as your business grows. As you are higher performing with your time, and as you have more profit and sustainable growth with your money, you create freedom for yourself. What do we all want? Freedom, freedom, freedom. The ability to live life on our own terms, to design our life and our future. And as your money and your impact grows, what comes from that? Influence. And how do we make the world better? Look at the astoundingly beautiful hearts, faces, and minds in this room, this global population. As every single person in this room has increased influence, we change the world, my friends. We change the world. So we want you to have more time and more money and more impact because it unlocks your personal freedom and influence. And when we unlock the freedom of influence of this global community of small business owners, we change the world. And at the center of all of that is your small business, the business you built, and our ability to help you accomplish the goals you set in it. So how do we do it? Let's zoom through our SLAP methodology. If you have a SLAP, I really want you to think to yourself, do you have it right? Is there any modifications in your strategy? Remember, profit is a skill and our skills grow, right? It is undeniable that Slapsters in year 3 or 4 are more skilled than Slapsters in year 1. And Slapsters in year 10 are more skilled than Slapsters in year 4. Skills grow. We get better and better at this skill. So you will get better and better at the skill of profit the more often you live in it, you optimize it, you think about it. Okay. So first, your ideal client. How do you define an ideal client? Your ideal client has 4 things in common. They are happy to pay you for your work. They value you and your products or services. They refer other business to you, and you enjoy working with them. That's an ideal client. Your ideal client is not your college roommate's aunt that you give your flowers to for free because she's so nice. Your ideal client is not your like loyal customer who would be joyfully happy to pay you, but you give them free stuff all the time to thank them for their business. Your ideal client pays you. They value you. They refer others to you. Because by the way, your ideal client knows other people like themselves and you enjoy working with them. Can I say one thing about this? We all work way too hard to have crap customers that don't treat us well. If you don't like one of your customers, stop working with them. It is not worth it. We have a no ego, no asshole rule at Silver Lining, and any slap expert is 100% authorized. They need no approval from anybody. If they're on the phone with a small business owner and that small business owner is treating them badly or has such a big ego that they think they know everything or is acting like an asshole, that slap expert can say, thank you so much. We wish you the best, but this is not the right place for you. And they can go online and they can delete their account and cancel their credit card. We don't need that money. No assholes, no egos. Do work you love with people you love. This is the joy. This is the benefit. We give up some perks and benefits by being small business owners in exchange for the perk and benefit of our freedom and our agency and our choice and our happiness. To me, it's a no-brainer. But we've got to be able to then hold ourselves to that, give ourselves that benefit. All right. These are really common mistakes that small businesses make. You try to sell anything to anybody because you're afraid to miss out on revenue. You think that if you try to be all things to all people, you'll sell more. You feel like if you offer products or services outside of your core expertise, you'll sell more, right? It's all about being fearful. We go outside of our ideal client when we are scared. It is fear-based, not opportunity-based. The risk, though, is worse than you think. You dilute your message and your sense of specialty. You spread yourself too thin. You limit your ability to grow your time and your money. We have unending data that the more specific your ideal client is, the faster you will grow, the more sales you will make. Unending data. So, you must protect your time and money. One of the most efficient ways to protect your time and money is to stop doing anything that is not related to your ideal client. Just stop it. Cancel the contracts, don't do the sales, stop going to the networking events, stop everything you're doing. Get that time and money back and reinvest it in your ideal client because you don't have enough time and money to talk to everyone. You don't even like the clients often that fall outside of your core expertise. That causes nothing but angst. And the businesses with the most defined ideal clients grow the fastest. For sure, I promise you. Now, this is what your ideal client looks like. You've got to know it's not a target market. I don't want someone saying to me, well, Krissa, I sell soap, so any woman in the world is my ideal client. No, it's not. We had this funny moment actually at the most recent Silver Lining World Tour event in Trinidad and Tobago where someone said, well, I'm a dermatologist, so anyone with skin is my ideal client. And I said, no, it's not true. Are you sure? I understand you could help anybody with skin, but who is your ideal client? Is it a 16-year-old with acne? Is it a 42-year-old with wrinkles? Is it a 65-year-old with aging, beautiful skin? Who is your ideal client? Who do you enjoy working with? Who pays you joyfully at the rates you need to charge to make a profit? Who refers others? Who values you? So could she help anyone with skin? Yes. But who is her ideal client? Ideal client is also a choice. I made a choice that Silver Lining's ideal client was all of you because I love you. I get joy talking to every single one of you. I believe in it. It's a no-brainer for me. Could Slap work for a startup? Yes, but that's not my ideal client for a million reasons. You are. So it's not about who it could work for. It's not about what you could sell. It's about who your focused and specific ideal client is, which you choose. And then you need to know everything about that ideal client. What are the patterns in that ideal client profile? And then you turn it into step 2, your SLAP statement. Now, you need to know 4 things to build a SLAP statement. Profit is a skill. Number 1, you must know your ideal client. Number 2, you must know your SLAP statement. You need to make 4 choices to write a good SLAP statement. What you do, who you do it for, the scale you do it on, and your company name. So I always say, I give you a freebie, but if you actually don't know your company name, I probably can't help you. We've got bigger problems than profit is a skill. But first, your company name. Quick win, 25% done. Okay, you know who your ideal client is, you just define them. Your ideal client gets a name. Now you've got 2 more choices to make. What do you do? Now, if I had $1 for every time I asked a small business owner what you do, and it's like, you remember those old wind-up dolls where you wind it up and it takes forever and ever and ever to unwind? If it takes you 4.5 paragraphs to write out what you do and 5.5 minutes to say it out loud, it's too complicated. We have sort of been beholden by this idea of like mission statements and vision statements and all these really fluffy things. I want you to be able to say what you do in 3 to 5 words. Go look at your SLAP right now. How many words are in that little box that you get to fill in for your SLAP statement? What you do: sell baked goods, provide accounting services, create exceptional events, produce and sell ghee, teach yoga. I don't know. Let it just be what it is. What do you do? No fluff. And if you can't say it in 3 to 5 words, you have probably overcomplicated your business, or you're trying to do too many things. If you need to say, I do this and this and this and this and this, that's why you're tired, because you're taking the precious time and money you have and you're dividing it between too many whats. Good businesses have 1 what, 1 who, and then a choice about the scale they want to grow it on. Now, note when you choose your scale, local, regional, national, or global, that has nothing to do with size of business. We have some slapsters with hyper local businesses that are generating a crap load of profitable revenue. And we have some businesses that do global shipping and are very, in trouble financially. So this is not about how big you want your business to be. It's about the scope, the scale, the footprint you want your business to operate on. Because when you know that, you actually make very different strategic decisions along the way. So when I started Silver Lining almost 20 years ago, I created a SLAP statement for myself, and it is exactly the same today as it was then. Silver Lining sells SLAPs to James on a global scale. When I started Silver Lining, it was in my little tiny studio apartment in Toronto, Canada. I had $2,000 in the bank. There was no reason. I had no idea how to become global. I had no idea what I was doing, but I had a vision. I knew what I wanted to do. And for the last 20 years, every single time someone asks me for my time or my money, every time I have to make a strategic decision about Silver Lining, every time I choose to hire someone or not, every time I choose to buy a new piece of software or not, every time I choose to do a marketing campaign or not, build a feature in SLAP Center or not, I ask myself 3 questions. Can I sell SLAPs? Number 1, will this help me sell and deliver SLAPs? Will it help make SLAP better? Number 2, will my ideal client be in the room? Number 3, is it global in scale? And if the answer is yes to those 3 things, I spend time and money. But if the answer is not yes to all 3, I do not spend 1 minute of my time, or $1 of my money, or 1 ounce of my energy. Because I do have enough time, money, and energy to hit my goals, but I don't have enough time, money, or energy to waste 1 second, 1 cent, or 1 ounce. So I want to just say 2 things about this, because this is a critical point. This is where strategic agency comes in. And this is how you know when to say yes and when to say no. When you're making choices all day long, should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? Instead of having to like have a strategy session or get a spreadsheet out, you can ask yourself 3 quick questions. Slap experts in the room. When you're on calls with slapsters and you're trying to help them make good choices, just ask these 3 questions. It's so simple. Every strategic decision comes down to these 3 questions. Can you do what you do? Will your ideal client see it, hear it, be involved, benefit from it? Does it match the scale you've chosen to build your business on? That's it. You will instantly know what your pricing strategy should be, if you should launch a new product, if you should adjust something, what marketing you should do, what sales you should do, if you should go to that conference, if you should go to that trade show. All of those things that seem so hard to figure out, instant. I do no strategy sessions. I can make quick decisions. I probably make an average of 50 decisions a day based on the SLAP statement. Every decision I make, I ask myself these 3 questions. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And as a result, I can stay as pretty focused and disciplined, even as the company grows and grows and grows. Now, I'm going to address one thing in the room, which has nothing to do with the methodology, but has everything to do with equality, which I care deeply about, we've discovered. Did you guys hear that my ideal client's name was James? All of you women, did you hear that? My ideal client's name is James for 2 reasons. One is my ideal client, right? You go back to the ideal client. They pay you for your work. They value you. You enjoy working with them. They refer others to you. At Silver Lining, the data is still true that men pay higher AFA rates than women. So even if both men and women are running a company that makes $100,000 a year, men will pay more for their monthly subscription than women. They'll make a higher percentage payment. It is also true that it takes us less time to support men with SLAP, and so they're actually more profitable. So if I am thinking like a CEO, which I am, men are more profitable customers for us than women. Now, 67% of Slapsters are women. Women are critical parts of our community. So it's not men and not women, but it's true that men are more profitable for us than women. So I make a CEO decision that is rooted in that truth, right? My financial truth in my business. Simple numbers. Profit is a skill. And what do all of you know if you're women at Silver Lining? We give the same service and support to every single human at Silver Lining, no matter what, always. I am thrilled that 67% of our Slapsters are female. And I believe that the reason we make some of those choices around money and we require additional support to make changes is because we have been deeply systematized in all of the wrong ways to question our value, our worth. And so there is an injustice in the world that has resulted in the numbers being the way they are at Silver Lining. So I don't give up on my commitment to equality. And I don't say that women aren't phenomenally capable of success, because by the way, women, you outperform men in hitting your financial goals, FYI. So women outperform men in our data. But so do you guys see the nuance of this though? I can hold space for the truth. Profit is a skill. It's numbers. My values, equality. We're going to change this economy one small business at a time. And context. We've got so many incredible women, and it actually annoys me. Not you annoy me, the world annoys me. We've got to change the world, because it's still true that women have a different relationship to money than men. And part of being in this community together is to talk about those truths and figure them out together and to be in it together. But this is the nuance of profit as a skill and values. You can make values aligned choices while also operating with profit as a skill and make good business decisions and hold it all in alignment, right? It's not women or men. It's not me being mad at women because men pay more. It's not idolizing men because they pay more. It's about looking at the full picture and making strategic decisions that cover all those truths at the same time. Sashni, I think I see your hand.
Yes, we have a wonderful question in chat from Max. He says, I sell online and all my clients are anonymous. How can I know who my ideal client is?
Ooh, interesting. Okay, well, you could ask them certain questions that don't feel pressing. Or if it really is true that they're completely anonymous, you could look for other trends that you could associate around. login rates, time of the day that they sign up, the things that they seem to engage in or that matter to them. So you could build a profile of your ideal client that maybe doesn't have some of these pieces I'm suggesting, but that is based on other information you do have. What you want to do is use whatever information you have available to get to the most concise view of your ideal client as possible, because it will give you the freedom to spend less time and less money. It will give you the formula to know when to say yes and when to say no. It'll make your life easier. I will tell you, I'm a yes person. It's very hard for me to say no, but it is such a relief when I can look at something and be like, that event would be great. And yes, if I had unlimited time and money and energy, I'd probably go to it. But it is not the right choice for me to make right now. And so I don't have to go. It is such a relief to know when to say yes and when to say no, and to have a system and a structure for it that feels true and real. Okay. Number 3, profit is a skill. Set your SLAP goal. We're going to talk about money. Everyone stretch for a second. Hands up, hands out. One of the most hilarious data points we have at Silver Lining, we collect over 400 data points on every Slapster at all times in live timestamps. One of the most hilarious data points is that the second you get to the 1-year financial goal section of build, hot potato, log out. You love all the rest of it. Mission, alignment, time budgets, ideal clients, SLAP statement. We go through the software, and then we start talking about money. And there is the highest logout rate on the first page that talks about money. It's literally like we see the section and be like, log out, literal log out. It's so funny. So let's not log out. We run businesses. We've got to get good at talking about money. But money does not have to be the way we've learned to talk about it. We can redefine how we talk about money. So let's do that. For you to set a really effective SLAP goal, it must be 4 things. It must be audacious. An audacious goal pushes you. It forces you into some level of creativity. It gets you out of your status quo. It is something that pushes you a little bit. I always say that a bored Carissa is a very, very bad Carissa. And I believe that bored business owners do make bad choices. Don't just do the same thing you've always done. Set goals that challenge yourself, because we are people. If you're someone that actually started a business, you thrive on being challenged. So you're going to have to challenge yourself. There's no one else there doing it for you. Challenge yourself. Now, alongside that, and by the way, these are not in conflict with each other. They've got to be realistic. All the behavior change science, which we're going to talk quite a bit about before we sign off in 20 minutes. But all the behavior change science says that if you set a goal that is unrealistic, you will 1000% fail. We're going to talk about stretch goals in a second, but I hate stretch goals. I think they are dumb and very, very bad. So we are going to come back and we're going to talk about that more, but realistic. Measurable. You've got to be able to measure your goal. Don't tell me you want to grow a little bit. You want to make more money than last year. Tell me exactly what you want to do. And it's got to be profitable. I don't want you to have revenue goals that you don't have a lot of profit baked in. There's a lot of business owners in our global community building businesses that even if the revenue went up, if you hit your sales goals, you'd be screwed because the profit is not very good. And so you don't actually have enough money to run the company well, even if your revenue is going up. This is why growth sinks so many small businesses. If your revenue targets aren't profitable, they can actually be dangerous. So I get to talk about a stretch goal for a minute. Here's one more of my little jokes. Don't stretch your goals, slap them. Do you guys like that one? Tough crowd. Guys, these are funny. Slap is funny. Okay. Stretch goals are hopes, wishes, prayers, and dreams. I want to make more money. I'd like to make a little more than last year. I want to make more money, but work less. I have a resolution that I'm going to be more fit. Hopes, wishes, prayers, dreams. I made $50,000 this year, but I believe in myself and I have value and worth. So I'm going to make $5 million next year. No, you're not. That's not true. That's just being silly. It has nothing to do with how smart you are, how amazing you are. It has nothing to do with your value and your worth. It's just not realistic. It is silly. So don't be silly. I was going to use a different word, but it's not kind. So I'm not going to do that. Don't have these stretch goals. We want to be in the habit of setting and hitting goals. In order to do that, the goal must be right. So there is, again, my background's in psychology. There is so much neuroscience evidence that when we set a goal and then we don't hit it, we are quite literally building neural pathways in our brain, training ourselves to fail. So every time I say, I'm going to have a six-pack in 3 weeks, and then I don't have a six-pack in 3 weeks, I'm teaching my brain, I'm building neural pathways in my brain that I am not going to do what I say I will, that I am not going to accomplish my goals, that I am going to fail. And our brains are very clever, but they are not clever enough to like hold that neural pathway and only apply it to my six-pack. So now my brain thinks I don't succeed, and my brain applies that logic to everything. You guys see this with humans all the time, right? A human that sort of gets one part of their life in order, the rest typically follows. One human that really starts to let something slide, and reverse momentum happens. How we are translates everything. One of my great joys actually is that slapsters that start hitting their sales goals, their slap goals, often have like improvements in their health and their marriages and their families, because when we learn the habit of success, our brains can't help but apply it to everything we do. It is a different way of being. It's not just this, it's not isolated to a certain activity. So stop these stretch goals, stop these resolutions. No more hopes, wishes, prayers, and dreams. I don't like them. I don't want them. They are bad for your brain, literally. We want to set and hit goals. We want to be in the habit of doing so. All right. I'm going to zoom through this, and I'm going to do this relatively quickly for a couple of reasons. One is that I really want to spend time on the behavior change science part of things before we close. The other is that if you have a slap, you really need to spend deep time in Slap Center and go through this again. So I'm going to give you all the tips and tricks, but then it would give me great joy and happiness if you put a comment in chat and said, I want to spend 1 hour with a slap expert and I want to go redo my 1-year goal. So if you put that in chat right now or in the next 5 minutes, Columba will capture it. We'll reach out to you. We'll take care of you. We'll make it happen. But if anything I say makes you think, oh, wait, maybe my 1-year goal is not right, put it in chat right now. We will get in a room with you and we'll get it right. It is deeply personal. But here is what we need to be considering when we set your 1-year goal. First of all, your personal expenses. For real. What does it take to run your life? You've got to get to an honest number on that. Take the time, get out your bank statements, go through it with a Slap expert, get all your personal expenses into Slap. Slap will calculate what the total amount of money is you need to make, and it will auto-populate it into your business expenses as the first line of your business expenses. Whether your company has just you or you and 1 million people, you are the CEO of the business. And you need to be able to pay yourself a salary. And that salary needs to cover your personal expenses. That is rule number 1 to get to profitability and sustainability. Then you're going to enter all of your fixed expenses: rent, utilities, full-time staff, car payments, insurance, anything that you have to pay every single month, regardless of how much money you make. These are your fixed expenses. Money you have to spend no matter what. And then the software will calculate for you what we call your break-even number. So all you have to do is input all those numbers. You don't have to do math. You don't have to do a spreadsheet. You don't have to calculate in advance. You just have to come ready to input it into your Slap Center account. We do the math, and we give you this break-even number. Your break-even number is the minimum amount of money you need to make just to pay your bills. Once you look at that break-even number, you can also then add a profit that you want to make on top of it. But note that 99% of the time, the break-even number is higher than you think it is. Most of the reasons small business owners are living in cash flow stress is that you're not telling the truth about what your break-even number is. You're not telling the truth about how much money you really need to live your life and run your business. And so you set goals that are hopes, wishes, prayers, and dreams. Well, I'd like to make $50,000 this year. Okay. But what if it costs $59,000 to run your life and your business? There's a $9,000 gap. We need to address that up front. We need to either find it in revenue or solve for it with a loan, but you can't just magically live with $9,000 not enough. It's not going to work. So we put ourselves through a huge amount of stress and pressure by not getting to the most truthful break-even number. So slap experts in the room, you have a moral responsibility to making sure that every slapster's break-even number is accurate. Because if that break-even number is too low, we will not design the goals that will create freedom and profitability. We've got to get to the cold, hard truth. So everyone, cold, hard truth. That is the mission of the break-even number. Now, then we go talk about revenue. How much money are we going to make? I love a business with 3 to 5 income streams. Your income streams are not your excuse to become unfocused and undisciplined. Good businesses do 3 to 5 things connected to your what. Your income streams are how you sell what you do. Okay. So Silver Lining sells slaps. How do I sell it? Slap Center subscriptions, courses and books, speaking fees, partnerships, right? Partners who buy it in bulk. It's a very simple business model. There's nothing fancy about Silver Lining. I have one what, and I have 4 income streams for how I do what I do, how I sell what I sell. A business with less than 3 income streams is way too reliant on one thing. More than 5 pulled in way too many directions. All of your income streams need to be connected to your what. Now, when we sell something, we don't get to keep all the money. Jezebel, who I love so much, is a phenomenal pastry chef. She's got a great business called Pure Confections. But if she sells a cookie for $1, Jezebel does not get $1. Jezebel has to probably spend $20 20 cents in flour and 15 cents in labor and 10 cents in kitchen rentals. So Jezebel has variable expenses. So you have your price point for what you sell it for, but then you have to note all the things that you need to spend to deliver on what you sold. Labor, materials, shipping, your own time. There's always cost associated with what it is you sell. That, when you take your price point of what you sell it for and you minus out your variable expenses, the software will calculate your profit margin. And you're going to have 5 income streams, each with a profit margin, which is basically the margin that you keep after you cover all your variable expenses based on the price you sell it for. And then your final choice is you'll decide what percentage of your total revenue you think you can make from each of your income streams. All of that will turn into and calculate for you a SLAP goal. Let's look at what makes this a SLAP goal. By December 31, time bound, there's a due date on it. I will sell $817,000 in revenue with $25,000 in profit. An acknowledgement of the top line revenue, but a focus on the profit that top line revenue will generate. And then actual number of sales, 65 units of this at this much money, 49 units of this at this much money. Price point figured out, right? So we've got our pricing strategy figured out and a very practical sales target designed. And by the way, what really motivates me to do that is that by growing my business, I am able to provide for my family, and I'm committed to creating an amazing vacation for them this year. So when I'm weary, when I'm in stuck stage 1, 2, or 3, when I'm on the throes of planning paralysis or action frenzy, when I'm wasting precious time and money, when I'm saying yes instead of no, I can reground myself and say, no, I got to make that vacation happen for my kids. Let me get back to my center, get into the right flow, and hit this goal. You guys see it? This is a SLAP goal. Anything less than this is a hope, a wish, a prayer, a dream. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. There is a reason New Year's resolutions do not work. This is a goal that is different than a hope. Okay. Now, this slide, I wish I could get this taped to all of our heads. This is my favorite slide of all the SLAP slides. I am not gonna make stupid promises. but I am going to tell you that I have been doing this for 20 years. I have personally spoken with over 200,000 small business owners in 77 countries about their small businesses. We have 12 years of data in our software from tens of thousands of business owners. These are the things that align with success. These are the behaviors that correlate to small businesses that hit their SLAP goals. You have at least 10 hours a week in your business time budget focused on business growth. Your sales goals each year, your SLAP goal grows between 5 and 20% year over year. It doesn't go backwards, but you don't set a goal that is more than a 20% growth from last year's income. You are setting realistic organic growth goals. Your profit margins for all of your income streams are 60% or higher. Every income stream you have is profitable. And if it's not, you stop selling it. You do something else. You innovate what you sell to make sure, you innovate how you sell what you do. You don't change what you do. You innovate how you sell it to make sure it remains profitable. You are growing your impact with your money. And there is, for those of you with SLAP who use the AFA, Access for All policy, there is a very high correlation between the amount you choose to pay. We recommend, as you all know, it's your choice, but we recommend that small businesses take their annual revenue. Don't end that poll. We don't want a poll yet. We still have lots to do. Get out of here, Colombo. I'm working. We're working. I got 4 minutes. We're not done. There is a very strong correlation between AFA percentage and financial success. That's not because you pay more. It's because you're more committed. So think about the logic of this. If you make less than $250,000 a year in your annual revenue, we say, take your annual revenue, take 2% of your annual sales goals, divide it by 12, and make that the monthly payment you make to SLAP. Just so you all know, SLAPsters whose AFA payment is 0.5% or less ratio have a 10% chance of hitting their sales goals. SLAPsters who are between 0.5 and 1% have about a 25% chance of hitting their sales goals. And SLAPsters between 1% and 2% have an 85% chance of hitting their sales goals. That has nothing to do with the amount of money. It doesn't say that someone that pays $10 a month has less chance of success than 300. It's about the percentage, the ratio of what you pay compared to your own financial reality. It's about your commitment. It's about being in integrity to what you can afford to pay in exchange for support. So it's not about dollar amount, but it's about that ratio. That number has a huge correlation to success. Huge. This is it. If I could give you the closest sort of formula for success possible based on all of the years I've been doing this, it's this slide. This is as close as the formula to success as I can give you. Now, we have 3 minutes. I'm going to use every single one. Colombo, get out of here with your poll. Leave me alone. I'm still talking. Okay, let's go fast. Now, the fourth part of having the skill of profit is knowing what connecting strategy to use in order to connect with your ideal client and hit your sales goal. Those of you who know SLAP know these 9 connecting strategies are all connecting strategies we've designed that take a small amount of time and money and are customized and created to help you find new customers. The big rules here are you should not do more than 4 connecting strategies per year, and you cannot do more than 1 per quarter. The intention is to be focused so that you can do it well, not to do everything at once. So for all of you that just booked into 1-hour call with a SLAP experts, you want to spend all of your time getting their 1-year goal into perfect alignment. And then you want to sit and you want to go through all 9 of these connecting strategies. There's a video explaining every single one in SLAP Center. Listen to that video and rate them. Figure out the top 4 connecting strategies for each SLAPster and then allocate them in their SLAP. SLAPsters, we will send you as well resources about the different connecting strategies, including I've designed the top 5 campaigns that I think work for each of these connecting strategies that you guys can use for inspiration. So the SLAP experts will have those. Now, before we're done, I have 2 more things to say. Mindset is a muscle. Commitment is a choice. Profit is a skill. Mindset is a muscle. The silver standard is to hit your SLAP goals and be the owner of a profitable, sustainable business with a strong mindset and impact. In order to do that, you must be good at closing sales. In order to do that, you must take the right actions. In order to do that, you must operate from a strong mindset. There are 4 habits that you are going to see SLAP is trying to help you do over and over and over again. When the software or a SLAP expert encourages you to do one of these 4 things, just say yes. Let us help you build these habits. Let us help you build a strong mindset. First of all, say no. Every time someone asks you for a minute of your time or $1 of your money, stop and ask yourself, will my ideal client be there? Can I do or talk about what I do? Does it match my scale? If it's 3 check marks, say yes. If it's 2 check marks, say no. If it's 1 check mark, say no. If it's 0 check marks, definitely say no. Habit number 2, audit your calendar. One of the most popular campaigns in SLAP Center is the calendar audit. Do it every month, over and over and over again. SLAP experts, if one of your SLAPsters hasn't done a calendar audit in the last quarter, auto add it to their SLAP. Get into it. We got to audit these calendars. Number 3, do I will days. This is also a connecting campaign in SLAP Center. Once a day, stop, step back, look at everything on your list and reprioritize, delegate, delay, apologize, or delete. Get yourself refocused on your highest priorities. And number 4, get unstuck. Learn how to intervene on yourself so that you can get unstuck. When you're saying too busy, do a calendar audit. When you're saying you're overwhelmed, set a realistic SLAP goal. When you're saying you've lost your passion, take a vacation. When you're saying you want to quit, go all the way back and realign your mindset, your profit, and your impact. And with that, I am going to say, does your action plan have a silver lining? Commitment is a choice. Profit is a skill. Mindset is a muscle. Success is science. And I'm going to leave you with this. When people start to make changes, if you have a SLAP, you're in action mode, you're making definitive changes. The number 1 truth is that we are bad at maintenance as business owners. And so we relapse. We always full or partial return to previous behaviors. SLAP has been designed to help you maintain good behaviors, to take action to implement good behaviors that will help you accomplish your goals, and then to maintain them for years on end so that you get long-term success. In order to maintain success, what the science says is you need to gain commitment, set modest goals, rigorously track behavior, build self-efficacy, build new habits, have outside coaching, and peer community. That is literally SLAP. So yes, SLAP is a business tool. Yes, SLAP is focused on helping you set and hit financial goals, but I designed it. It's tech-enabled and data-driven, and it is designed to give you every single element of what behavior change science says is necessary for you to set the right goals and then actually hit them. And so I simply say, embrace it. Use SLAP Center, use the recommendation engine, do what it's telling you to do, go into SLAP Center, get the right action items, get the right campaigns into your SLAP, listen to your SLAP experts. They are deeply trained and deeply skilled at helping you succeed. They don't just get on random calls with you guys. They get a briefing before every call that tells them all of your data points and tells them what we know you need to do to optimize your behavior to get to results. And then they get on the phone and they help you do it. Get on the phone with these guys. They're magical, wonderful magicians who literally are equipped with data. They know what you need to do to succeed, and they are there to help you do it. Come to meets, connect with each other, have such good behavior that you get a loan if you need it. You get access to one-on-one calls with big entrepreneurs. You get an EA. You can succeed. So here's the final message. You've got to build your action plan so you have total clarity on your ideal client, SLAP statements, SLAP goals, and connecting campaigns. You can then use hundreds of those connecting campaigns and figure out how to make finding new customers and more sales actually really simple, low cost. Use the campaign library. Benefit from the experiences of a global collective of strategists and its SLAPsters who have all been where you are. Do not do it alone. We are in this together. Get unlimited tech-enabled, data-driven, and human support to help you succeed. Leverage SLAP Center and your magical, wonderful SLAP experts to optimize your actions, and then access SLAP Capital if and when you need it. And that, my friends, is SLAP. If I had 5 more hours, we could talk for 5 more hours about it, but it is designed for you. It was designed by you. Every feature, every optimization, every algorithm, every data point, everything has been designed based on what we see you need, what you tell us you want, and it is comprehensive. It is based in the same science that's used in Weight Watchers, Alcoholics Anonymous, Fitbit. It is literally designed to help you succeed, sometimes even in spite of yourself. Use it, use it, use it. And when you do, and when you do it in the way that we've just all described, I am 1000% confident you can and will succeed.